Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to build a stock market portfolio for beginners. A lot of times I get the question, when should I start investing? And my answer is always now. No matter what's going on in the world, it's always good to start investing as soon as possible. And when this time, I really mean now, because you have the major indexes that are down massively. You got the Dow Jones that is down around 15%. You got the S&P 500 that is down around 20%. And then you have the tech heavy NASDAQ that is down around 30%. So this is one of the best times to really start investing. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to build a portfolio, what type of stocks that you want in a portfolio, as well as give you guys a template on how I would build it if I were to start brand new. And something to keep in mind is you can start investing with as little as $5. A lot of these companies, a lot of major brokers offer fractional shares. And with fractional shares, for a lot of them, you can even put $1 in a company to have a portion of that stock. So you can start investing with almost any amount that you want to. So this video, we're going to talk about how we start to build a portfolio if I were to start off new, give you guys a template as well. If you like what you guys hear, it would really appreciate it if you would like the video. If you have any questions or concerns, or want to kind of give your own template on something that you would change, leave them in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation down there. And then we are a new channel. We're a new channel. We're trying to go. Really would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, as it does help us out tremendously, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Now let's get into it. When people start building a portfolio, one of the first questions that a lot of times they have is, how many stocks should I have? And its answer varies a lot. One of the biggest varies is how old you are and also how much money do you have. But something that I'm a firm believer in is you don't need to have a lot of stock. Warren Buffett has a quote, "Why diversification is only required when investors do not understand what they are doing." So if you don't understand how to invest, it may be best for you to put your money in a lot of different individual stocks. And it may be even better if you just put your money in the index. But if you want massive growth, if you want your portfolio to really grow over time, it's always best to put your money in individual stocks, but to put your money in a select few of stocks. Warren Buffett once again has another quote, "Diversification may preserve wealth, but concentration build wealth." When you look at somebody like Warren Buffett, who is one of the most intelligent investors of our time and somebody that a lot of people look up to, he has almost 80% of his company, of his stock, in just 6 positions. Almost 80%. He has over a $300 billion portfolio, and almost 80% of that is only in 6 stocks. You don't want to have too many stocks, because how are you going to have faith in each one of those companies equally, right? So an example would be, if you have 20 stocks, how are you going to spread your money out and have faith in number 20 stock that you have in number 1 stock, right? If you have your money spread across these different stock, you might as well have an index. Just invest in the index and call it a day. So when it comes to having stock, you don't want a ton of different companies. You want to really slim it down to a select few that you can build upon and understand fully. You want to be diversified in different industries, but you don't want to be diversified into a bunch of different stock. You want different industries, but not a bunch of different stocks. So this is how I would build my portfolio, and this is how many stocks that I would have. So when it comes to building a stock market portfolio, you want to make sure you're diversified into different industries. So you want to make sure that you're diversified into different industries, but you don't want a whole bunch of stocks, right? You don't want a whole bunch of companies that you own. Once again, when we talk about Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, almost 80% of his portfolio is built into only 6 stocks, right? Not a lot of diversification there as far as having a bunch of different companies. So me personally, I only believe in having, if you were to start with lower amounts of money, 5 stocks. You really only need 5 stocks. If you're starting off with $100, $1,000, you really only need 5 stocks. Now, if once you start to get to, let's say you have $500,000, or, you really are, $100,000, maybe you can go even more. But once again, you don't want to have that spread across even that much. Like if I have $100,000, maybe I'll have 8 stocks, right? I have 8 individual stocks at the max, right? So you don't need to have your money spread out into all of these different types of companies, right? You just pick a select few that you truly understand that are diversified in different industries. So to start us off, one of the companies that I would like to have, or a type of stock that I would like to have, is a market leading large cap. You want a market leading large cap. This company can be in any industry that you want, any industry that you prefer. And this company is kind of going to serve as a staple of your portfolio. Your largest allocation of your portfolio is most likely going to be in this company. Now, this can be any company you really want. It can be Apple in the tech sector. It can be Coca-Cola in the beverage sector. It can be, I'm trying to think of some stocks. It can be Tesla when it comes to electric vehicles. It could even be Exxon when it comes to gas. It's whatever you believe in, whatever market that you probably understand the best, and that is a market leader, and it's a large cap. It is a big cap company, because one of the reasons why we want to make sure it's a large cap is it's been usually large caps are companies that are 10-year companies that's been around for a long time and that are profitable. You want companies that are profitable, and almost every single type of stock you want is a profitable company. So one of the first type of companies that I would want in my portfolio is a market leading large cap companies. Next up is a medium to large tech stock. When you look at some of the biggest companies in the world and some of the companies that have the highest profit margins, they're usually within the tech sector. So I believe that you need to have a medium to large tech stock in your portfolio at all times. When it comes to tech, this can be Apple, this can be Microsoft, this can be Google, this can even be Meta, this can be Nvidia. These are all very profitable companies and are large caps within the tech sector. I do believe you always need to have one of these companies, and because as we talked about the tech sector, the tech sector is one of the sections that have the most growth within. Then on top of that, when you look at the market, they even have in some way their own major index in the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ is specifically mostly tech stock. It has other stocks in there, but it's primarily tech stocks. So you need that medium to large tech stock in your portfolio. All right. Next up, we have a dividend or value stock. This can be either or, depends on you. Usually dividend stocks and value stocks go together, but something you want to make sure when it comes to this is make sure that it's a growing dividend stock. Also, make sure that it doesn't have a high payout ratio when it comes to that dividend. And when it comes to value, just make sure it's not a value trap, right? It is a profitable company. Once again, we always want to make sure that we have a profitable company. Make sure it doesn't have to be a large cap. It doesn't have to be a medium cap. Usually it's probably going to be a medium cap if it's a dividend and a value stock, but we want to make sure that it is a profitable company, a company that is still growing, but you can get a lot of value out of it. It's currently undervalued, which most companies in this stock market, in this current market condition, are pretty much either at value, at fair value, or maybe even undervalued in this type of market, right? So I think that you always want to have a dividend/value stock in your portfolio. Next up, we have a dividend value profitable stock. Now, this is kind of your choice. This can be any type of company that you want. It doesn't specifically have to be a dividend stock. It doesn't specifically have to be a value stock. You want it to be a profitable stock though. It has to be a profitable stock. That's the most important thing is, but this one can be really anything you want. It doesn't have to be, have to pay a high dividend, doesn't have to pay a high, be super value. Maybe it's a little undervalued. This is more of it's what you really want, that you understand, to kind of diversify your portfolio, because make sure that we're diversifying our portfolio across different industries and sectors. But this is more of your choice. But the key thing is it has to be profitable. It has to be a profitable company. Has to be. Next up, we have our last stock. I only believe in having 5 stocks when you're starting off. And this one is actually a high growth stock, a stock that has the potential to 5x or more. Now, something I will say is this stock can be unprofitable. Usually companies that are unprofitable are usually the ones that have the chance to grow massively, right? If they don't put everything in the right gear and they continue on their ways and they get to profitability, they are ones that are usually going to take off. This an example would be like Tesla. Tesla about 4 or 5 years ago was a very unprofitable company. As soon as they flipped that switch and became profitable on a consistent basis, they went to the moon, right? I know a lot of people, particularly on YouTube, that just their portfolios jump to the sky, where Tesla was maybe a small amount in their overall portfolio, but because of the returns, it ends up becoming their first or even their second or first largest position in their portfolio. So you want to have that high growth tech, that high growth stock. Doesn't have to be tech, but you want that high growth stock, but you don't want to put a lot in this. So an example would be, number one, your market leading large cap is probably going to be the one that you have the most money in. Your high growth stock is going to be the one you have the least money in. And I would personally not put more than 5% of my entire portfolio in that high growth stock, because this company could go out of business. This company could be unprofitable for a long time. And in this market condition, unprofitable companies are the companies that are getting hampered. These are the companies that are down 70, even 80%, even 90%. There's a couple of companies that are down 90%. So you want to be careful with this company, and you don't want to put too much money into them, but you do want that high growth stock that has that 5x potential. We're talking about companies like Palantir. We're talking about companies like SoFi. We're talking about companies like Affirm. We're talking about companies like Fubu TV. So there's a lot of companies out there that have very high potential that can 5x, but you don't want to put too much money in there and risk losing a large amount. So these are how I would build a portfolio. These are the type of stocks that I would want to have in my portfolio if I were to start brand new and start a portfolio today. Once again, you can start with as little as even $5, $100, $1,000. So you can start with any amount you want. This is how I would build my portfolio. Something to keep in mind is, when you are building a portfolio, you don't want to put all of your money in all at once. You want to go slowly but surely, right? So say if you got $1,000, maybe you start off with like $300, and then you kind of trickle in the rest over time as the market goes down, or maybe even as it goes up. But you don't want to put all of it at once. You want to start large, and then as the market kind of goes down, put a little bit here and a little bit there, but make sure you kind of balance it to where the first company, the market leading large cap, is the most, and the high growth stock is the least, right? This is how we'll build a portfolio, guys. If you have any questions, please go ahead, leave them in the comments below. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like, as it does help us out tremendously. And once again, we are a new channel. Go ahead and subscribe and join us on our journey. I do appreciate you guys being here, as it does help me out, guys. Thank you once again, and bye-bye.